everyone, this is Venus Brown. I'm going to be doing a reaction to The Crown Season 2, Episode 2. This is called A Company of Men, I believe. It has to do with family business stuff that Prince Philip is doing. I think in the military. I'm on a different computer because my husband is out of the state for a little while. So until he gets back, I will either be recording in the living room or right here. And I tried to start this earlier. I was going to do one half before I picked my kid up from college, and then the other half after. I got like a minute into the introduction and my kid texted and said, "Hey, I'm done with my test. Come pick me up." So now I can get on with it. And just a notice, I am working on my final rewatch of House of the Dragon, episodes 7 through 10. But I've had this problem with my arm and shoulder, neck, and everything, and it's kept me kind of out of commission for a while. So I got one done. I'll try to do 2 more episodes today, and then hopefully I can get to the last episode soon. I am going to start doing Blast from the Past episodes. I am almost all the way through the first season of Handmaid's Tale. That will be the first one that I do. I've got 2 more episodes to watch, and then I can get to the recording and editing for that one. If you like House of the Dragon, if you like Handmaid's Tale, if you like The Crown, come on back. I'll have those done in the next week or 2. In the next few months or so, I will get myself a nice new desktop computer and a new desk setup so that I will stop messing up my neck and shoulder and wrists and all of that. That stuff is much better. Like, I'm not dealing with any pain, but I still have tingling in my arms. So hopefully that'll get better and I'll stop having Spider-Man tingle going on in my arms and fingers all the time. Just a little intro. Here we go. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you want more content, click subscribe. If you click that little bell and click all, then you'll get more content notifications. And there it is. The Crown.
The Duke and I flew out and joined the yacht in Mombasa, full Malayan states and on to New Guinea.
So where I thought at the beginning,
because the Duke isn't much one for ceremony, preferring sport and competition to dinners and speeches. Everywhere we've gone, we've had our own We have a number of gifted athletes on board. In the past, when the Queen has been present, the evenings have been polite occasions with everyone on best behavior.
In New Guinea, as it turns out, there's no such thing as infidelity. And what happens on tour stays on tour.
By taking us into an illegal war under false pretenses. A shameful, dishonest misadventure.
Panic buying has been reported at petrol stations, and we expect fuel rationing to become necessary as we move into winter. The peace and consensus left by your dear father is gone.
The Duke of Edinburgh is on the telephone, Your Majesty.
Wouldn't you that's a first?
Okay, so I'll talk just a little bit about this and then try to move on. So the first thing is that, what happens on tour stays on tour, and this whole, there's no such thing as infidelity while we're here or whatever. This is the kind of mentality that I experienced a lot while I was in Korea in the army. What happens in Korea stays in Korea. And they acted like whatever they did there didn't count as infidelity. And that just pissed me off. It is a huge strain on a marriage. That almost split my parents up. For the most part, the spouses know that shit is going on. Whether you think it's being kept secret or not, rumors spread. And you freaking bring back signs of your infidelity when you come back. It starts to creep up into the marriage. People start to figure it out. And even if they don't, it causes little fissures in the marriage that start to mess the marriage up, even if they don't know for certain that you were cheating. If you're going to make some kind of arrangement in your marriage that you know this is going to happen and you have an arrangement, as long as it is consensual. If this is an arrangement you already had and you guys were swinging or whatever, fine. When it's non-consensual, when you haven't made some agreement, you're just sneaking around behind your spouse's back, don't do that. It ruins marriages. And even if it doesn't completely destroy them, it screws them up. So they are not right. You're injecting a matter of distrust into the relationship. Anyway, the other thing. What was the other thing? Oh, the freaking war stuff. So, I don't know how long into the war this was. This is stuff that I've seen so many times here in America. When the president or whoever it is that decides to give the go-ahead for a war, whether an official war or like a war, but they don't declare it officially. Usually, initially, they do get pretty strong support. If the country feels that it warrants it. If the country doesn't feel it's warranted, or they feel like this war was started without their go-ahead, then it's looked down upon from the very beginning. But even when it starts out with that approval, a lot of times after just a few months, people get tired of it. They don't like that kind of shit. And, oh yeah, and my dad, I remember him teaching me about some of this stuff. My dad was in the military much longer than I was. I was in for 5.5 years. My dad stayed in until he retired. I remember him telling me that, that war is good for the economy. It's good for certain people. The problem is that war is also bad for certain other people. War benefits some corporations and companies a lot, but then other corporations and companies and the people themselves a lot of times get harmed economically by wars, and especially when they go on and on and on, and they don't get those benefits that the leadership in the country think that they're going to get. Like, I remember when we had this war going on, this was their buy-in, either the Iraq war or the Afghanistan war. People really thought that we were going to somehow gain control over those oils and that this was going to be some big boon. No, instead, those oil fields were being freaking bombed. And the oil itself was being used to say, hey, you do this shit to us, we're going to take this shit from you. The people of the country get sick and tired of it. And then you get those protests. Sure, there are protesters that are going to come out from the beginning who are against war, period. After it goes on for a while, then you get a lot more people that are in the country that get involved in those protests because they don't want it. So, I'll stop after this. Now, back to the show.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I've
I can
had
hear you.
this call so many times.
In an attempt to repair the reputation of our country currently being ruined by our politicians.
Is that surprising?
It's been wonderful for me, on a personal level, to be back at sea. The Royal Navy has always occupied a very special place in my life and indeed in my heart. Until you come and pick me up again and we can continue our great adventure. Now, in the meantime, behave yourselves. Keep fit. And don't drink all the bloody beer.
I did, but in her case, I find myself moved to make an exception. So I think we can safely assume this one's a friend, not an enemy.
The fact I never see him.
Absence isn't a legal ground for divorce. You're going to need one of the big three: adultery, unreasonable behavior, or insanity. I'm really sure about this. A divorce can leave a woman quite isolated. Maybe things will get better.
Yeah, and a broken marriage can leave a woman isolated and
I tend to
feeling
think that's always
freaking
the best way.
frustrated, upset, angry,
Grass is
abandoned.
The physician the same question, ma'am, but he insisted. He felt that I was at the very limit of human endurance. But the country will be in safe hands,
How long do you imagine you'll be away?
Not long, ma'am. A few weeks.
Well,
sorry, I'm
I
taking
suppose
it
one
this
can
is
always reach you
lead up to
at short
his
notice.
thing at the
It's a point I
end
always make to my
of
private
the last
secretaries.
season.
Yes, Jamaica.
He specified sunshine, tropical sunshine. He said he felt my life might depend on it.
Oh yeah, my labs came back
would
and
he prescribe for the
apparently
rest
I'm
of us?
low on vitamin
Do you
D,
imagine?
which you wouldn't think in Florida, but
Prime Minister.
I don't get out much. Usually I like cheese and milk and yogurt and all of that stuff. I've cut a lot of it back to reduce calories, so I think that's also contributing. This is my backdrop.
You do know him, don't you? Mike would have made sure of that. You're just his type. Look, here is my address and telephone number.
You gotta get business cards so that you can get divorced. I wonder how much they want to.
Yes, the provenance of this rumor is quite arcane.
Infidelity.
Mrs. Parker is seeking a divorce.
As she should.
It's unfortunate. It'll be hard to contain.
It's unfortunate that her husband is screwing around on her.
Mrs.
And gone all the time. You know how you stop these controversies, men? Stop screwing around. Women, too. Just don't do it.
Just going to put a
Your spouse
microphone
doesn't
right
deserve
here.
that shit.
Can I help?
Plus, like I said, you have a prior arrangement. It's consensual.
Right. But you must have thoughts about it.
Of course. I'm not a vegetable, but
Not a
my
vegetable.
thoughts on issues like that remain a private matter. I have progressive views.
You don't think that you do? Televising the coronation? Advocating modernization?
That's
true that you didn't see your father for the last 6 years of his life.
I think if we're to remain friends, we really should move on.
All right.
He's getting upset.
Your favorite sister, Cecile, also a Nazi, died in a plane crash.
Yeah, I really think we should move on
What
now.
kind of impact does that have on a man?
I guess
I
it's
think
thought
people
that
have a
she's
right, don't you?
on their side.
Especially ones that can't be thrown out with free and fair elections.
Just don't ever let my vanity get the better of me again.
Wanting to know a person's complexities and everything is one thing. Being all biased, pulling out all that Nazi stuff from your family, that's another. I think at the very least, journalists like that are digging for that kind of information should tell the person at the very beginning, look, I'm going to be asking you questions about this and that and the other thing. It's going to be
Kensington
very sensitive.
8953,
Are you
hello?
still okay with that? And if they're not, then you can lay off.
Of course.
We will need you to make an official statement and
Yeah, I was
give
wondering if
evidence
she would
in
be
court.
willing. I thought this was just a
I'm
private
afraid that's what
conversation.
the law requires.
No.
That's hard. That's hard to put your face in front
So
of
you
people like
telephoned
that.
me
Be allowed to go one single step further, Martin.
No.
If Mrs. Parker succeeds in getting her divorce, Parker has done, and the Duke of Edinburgh has done too.
Well,
Whether there is any truth
they
in the
do,
allegations
and
or
they
not,
have. Get over yourselves.
to royal marriage.
You're better off dealing with the freaking turmoil it's going to cause for the time
ideas.
being until it fizzles out. Calms down.
Special dispensation has been given to the dozen or so men who already have beards. Shave them off.
Oh,
Now
yeah,
that
'cause the
does it
military
for the rest of our efforts, all right? Hey, Chris!
Companion Christmas speech to the Queens. 1,000 words, many references as possible to the importance of family and the sanctity of marriage.
What if I don't want to?
It might reassure people that all is still well.
I wouldn't go that far, man.
Well, I would. And I think it's a good idea. I've been separated.
3 weeks, I think.
See, and would you say that you thrive or suffer from the separation?
We don't much care for it, ma'am.
I believe that a week or two can give a kind of a nice separation to just like be able to breathe, do your own thing for a little while, relax, and be free of some of the irritations that exist when you live together all the time and you're around each other all the time. As you can tell, do not agree at all with spouses going off, being living separate and then screwing around on their spouse unless it's freaking consensual.
Yes, sir?
So, that's my take on the matter.
What's up?
Once we don't know who he is or where he's from.
It doesn't matter who he is or where he's from. He was the captain of a ship. That's all that counts.
Did you, like, identify the markings
No,
on
it's out
his
of the
head to
question.
try to figure out where
Why?
he might be from?
The ever to wherever he came from would be to turn back in entirely the wrong direction.
Did you have, like...
It'd take days, maybe a whole week, off our important schedule.
We can make that time up.
The man's fortunate enough we saved his life.
Jets, helicopters, or something
Well,
like that.
simply drop.
Find himself in a strange country with a foreign language, away from his family.
My decision as flag officer is no.
And my decision as admiral of the fleet is that we do.
Only one person in command of a vessel. It's the flag officer. If you'd recall your naval training, you'd remember.
I do recall my naval training as it happens. Manning come representing the crown, and I say turn it around and take this man home.
Fished a shipwrecked mariner out of the water. Our brilliant surgeons operated on him. Then we went out of our way to return him to his home, his family, and his people. And what people? What family? What a home?
Did they ever say where he was from?
Should you Thursday Club members ever grow tired of your colourless and empty lives in London, I suggest immediate relocation to the discreet island nations nestled around Tonga. Surely the closest one can come to heaven on earth.
That is your husband's handwriting, isn't it? You said you needed evidence. That's not a royal tour they're on. It's a 5-month stag night. Whores in every port.
Thank you.
That's what they want me to say. I mean what I want to say.
Have you got it yet?
I have to turn the globe upside down to find this place. Indeed, a few of us aboard the Royal Yacht feel a little upside down, having never been this far from home. Naturally, it has led us to examine our own lives and the way we live, the things we take for granted.
Is that really Philip? Some sort of Philip impersonator? Why? It just sounds so odd, so different.
Together. But we each stand alone.
Be Christmas.
And the Commonwealth will now listen to the voice of Her Majesty the Queen.
Of your family gathered here today. Our very best wishes go to you on board Britannia. A very large, united family is waiting for you here.
Does he know at all that his wife is trying to divorce him?
Touching. Unexpectedly touching. Caught me off guard. Confessed to feeling a little homesick.
Nothing wrong with that. Gone for months, you should feel homesick. It's pretty. Alright, so that was episode 2 of season 2 of The Crown. I thought it was pretty good. Give us an idea of some of the stuff that was going on in this trip, and dig a little deeper into those fissures that were going on within the marriage. It doesn't look like it's gotten to a point yet that we saw at the very beginning of the first episode of the season, where it seems to be these little fractures going on in their marriage and everybody in the world has caught on. I think it's trying to build the story to get you there. So, last images of them being in the Antarctica. I'm going to be going on a cruise this summer to Alaska, so it just reminded me of that. For the most part, I prefer the warmth, so So my husband is much more excited about it than I am, but I can still acknowledge that it's freaking beautiful, and I think we will have a great time. I just have to keep myself all bundled up. I have arthritis in my neck, shoulder, wrist, and back, and so the cold can be very difficult for me. But as long as I am bundled up and properly dressed for the occasion, I should be okay. So, wish me luck. I think it'll be fun, but it'll be my first time ever going to Alaska. I've never been there. I'll be leaving from Seattle. Seattle is my home. Florida I live in. I've lived here since 2000, but I was born in Seattle. Not in Seattle, in Washington. I spent part of my life in Washington, always in that area. Seattle, Tacoma, Spanaway is the last place I lived in Washington. Those are my home. That's that's where family is for the most part. We have a little bit of family here in Florida, but most of my family is in Washington. But we've stayed away from there for a long time because Washington is also, a lot of it is cold and gray and dreary, and that is hard on me. I don't like the cold and gray and dreary. It gets me down. I get down anyway without it, but it makes it even more easy to be down. Next, I'm going to work on House of the Dragon. I got a couple episodes that I plan on recording today. And then tomorrow I'll work on all my editing and stuff. Bye. Until next time, I'll see you when I see you. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you want more content, click subscribe. If you click that little bell and click all, then you'll get more content notifications.